Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here to work on layout 14 out of 42. So I went to a crop in October, I brought 48 page kits, I ended up getting 42 pages done, and this is the product of that. I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel where you can see the making of the page kits, and then with those page kits now you're seeing what pages I've made. Now this has a 4x4 and it's a picture of Mason, myself, and my mom. And one thing about Mason is he needs to be entertained the whole time we have him. So whether he wants to go shoot pucks downstairs and play hockey, or if he wants to play Yahtzee or we always need to play a game with him. And this picture was taken while we were camping, so he had not only a captive audience, but he had a nice supply of people because we were my mom and us and Mason, and then we had my daughter and her husband. So he always had someone to ask if they wanted to play Yahtzee or if they wanted to play Uno. And he always managed to wrangle up somebody to play a game. And of course, this page kit was no different than a lot of my other page kits. It was full of scraps. But the great thing about scraps is you take what you have, and some of the things that were in the page kit, I used it in the size that it was in, like the strip at the bottom of the page. And then I kind of build my page from that. And because that strip was probably a 4x12, and I'm going to keep it in that size, and then I just matted my photo with another piece of scrap, I believe it was, and it's some yellow cardstock. And then I took another piece of scrap and I cut it down to 1x12, and I like to use that as a border. And then I'm going to cut some little flags or banners. And just to add a little bit of color, I'm going to take one of my distress inks and I'm going to ink the edges of all the little banners. And then I'm going to start gluing everything down. Now this page here took me 28 minutes to complete. And I think it just depends on really how my brain is feeling. If I found that I was getting really tired, then it would take me a little longer to process what I wanted to do with certain pages. I did find a little frame in that page kit, and I ended up backing it with some like writing paper. And then I'm going to put a viewfinder and a 1.5-inch circle. And then I already did my title. I did that while I was at home, and then I put it on some wax paper so that when I got there, all I had to do was take the letters and then figure out where I wanted to put the title, and then I would just put the title on the page. And I think it says Let's Play, because we must have heard that probably 100 times while we were camping. So what I like to do, as soon as I know where things are going to go, I don't like to shuffle. I don't like to do the shuffle. I don't like put stuff down on my pattern paper or my cardstock and then I start moving things around and moving things around. So I let my gut tell me a lot of the times, yes, I like this. And as soon as I feel like, yes, I like this, I start gluing down. So that's why I glued down the 4x12 and the 1x12, and then I start gluing down the banners. And now, then I did the title, and as soon as I liked the frame with that part, I glue everything down. Once everything is down, then I start looking for my finishers. So things like the viewfinders and the 1.5-inch circles, those are the foundation of the cluster. And then once I have those down, then I start thinking, what can I use as my finishers? And I thought it'd be fun to use some of our little owls, but I didn't have any cut down, so I'm just going to take a couple minutes and cut those down, and then I'll add them to each of the clusters. Now we have a few different owls. We have one that we call Fluffy, and he kind of looks like he's fluffing himself out. And then the other one is just called Owl, and he's got more like a rounded face, if you will, like around the eyes. Personally, I love Fluffy. I just like the way that he looks. One thing that I find, because I'm not doing this shuffling around, I am able to put pages together way quicker, because I used to, come up with something and go, yeah, I like that, but maybe I'd like something else a little bit more. So then I would shuffle everything around, and then more than probably 90% of the time, I'd go back to what I did at the very start. So now I just decided that I'm just going to go, if I put it that way in the beginning, unless I do that and I go, I don't like that, which that happens sometimes too. And then I just take everything off and then I start over again afresh. So the 3 clusters this time is going to be one with my journaling, which I like to do a lot, to do a cluster with my journaling. And this time it happens to be with a little frame. And then right across the page from that to the right, I'm going to do that little cluster with a viewfinder, a 1.5-inch circle, a word, and a little owl. And then I'm going to do a very, very small cluster above those banners. And usually what I try to do, I try to have a big cluster, a medium-sized cluster, and then an itty-bitty cluster. So, the banners could be considered part of that embellishment cluster, or I can just say like the viewfinder and the owl is my itty-bitty cluster, and then my other one at the top right of the layout is my medium cluster, and then the one where I'm doing the journaling right now is my big cluster. And that's going to complete the layout, but I just want to remind you that tomorrow we're doing a YouTube hop for December daily, so come back to my channel. There's going to be a whole list of YouTubers that are going to share their December daily, and also I'll have, all the links to the Facebook group that we're part of. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.